Hi, welcome back to Cambridge Inside Out. I'm Judy Nathans.
And I'm Robert Winters.
Yeah, we haven't
And
moved from our little Zoom spaces here.
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
Every once in a while, I think I should change the decor here. I think I actually
yeah,
put in
I
a
do
report
too.
on one of the
I saw
lesser known
that.
reports on Central Square.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
also one on Cambridgeport revitalization.
Yeah, you have them
Um,
all. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, actually one that'll actually be pretty relevant today. It's the Green Ribbon
Oh,
Open Space Report.
when was
Um,
that done?
2020. It's 20 March of 2000.
Oh my gosh, it's
That's 20
21
years
years
old.
ago.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I was on the Green Ribbon Open Space Committee and,
Yeah,
kind of poured a lot of my heart and soul into that process. So I
okay.
feel a level of, you know,
Yeah, ownership
ownership of that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I want to defend the Green
yeah.
Ribbon ideas and what, what the
What
goals
was
were of
what
that.
was the what? How would you sum up the Green Ribbon
It
idea?
was there were multiple things worth saying. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty comprehensive, but the one thing is that there was a belief and understanding that there was a need for additional playing fields this around the city for
Yeah.
soccer. Around that time, people are already
Oh,
forgetting it, but Lusitania Field was on the Fresh Pond Reservation, was a very popular soccer spot, but it
where?
was never meant to be
Oh,
permanent
right, near Neville Manor?
near Neville Manor,
Right,
and
yeah.
it was only put there because they had taken away other
Oh,
site elsewhere for a laydown area during the Red Line extension,
oh,
and so anyway, they were eventually supposed to return Lusitania Field back to the wild, and they did a
oh.
great job when they did it. It's
It's very
actually
nice.
it's
It's very
very
nice.
beautiful and
Yeah,
very functional too in
it
terms
is.
of
I've
water
I've been to
quality
I've been to,
enhancement.
soccer games there. Yeah.
Right. But it also meant that a very significant and popular soccer field went away. So, we were certainly sort of on the hunt to try and find
No, wait a minute.
spaces
What do you
for
mean it went
playing
away?
fields.
There is one there.
Not on Fresh Pond Reservation anymore.
Neville
That's
Manor
not gone.
behind that. I went to a game there 2 years ago.
No, I'm talking about the one that you
Oh,
could actually look right at the front of the pond from it.
um,
Right.
okay, I don't know
So,
that one. There's one right across from Neville Manor. It's a parking lot. You go in right off of Concord, and it's on the
right.
right. What's
Right, but
that?
right. Well, anyway,
Okay.
the point is,
All right.
it's
All
not
right.
Lusitania.
Whatever.
It's the meadow again. It's Lusitania Meadow
Well,
now
fine, but
again.
there is a
Right.
soccer field
So,
on
but
Fresh Pond
that was
Estate.
part of our charge with the Green Ribbon Open
Okay.
Space. It was all just to identify playing fields and open space, but it was also somewhat neighborhood specific in the realization, and there was a lot of analysis done to say which parts of the city are underserved in
Mhm.
terms of access to open
Open space.
space.
Yeah.
And certainly, yes, it can be fairly said that the western part of the city had a little bit more than its share,
Yeah.
and East Cambridge and certainly mid Cambridge, where I live, had very little
Right.
open space. So, with certainly no playing fields. Once upon a time, what became Joan Lawrence Park, some people wanted to turn that into playing fields. There was opposition to doing that, so
Can I
it's just
remind you that the high
passive
school
now.
never had a football field? Come on. They
Well,
didn't have.
they play up at Dan
Well,
Hay Park.
now,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, but they didn't before that. Russell Field is a newer.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying
right,
yeah,
right.
so
But right, so the thing is you might have to go to, that
right,
was actually also part of our charge, was to
right,
talk about developing mechanisms and means of getting access to these fields, even from other neighborhoods as
right,
well.
right.
For example, the Grand Junction path,
Yes.
which, again, I'm not going to say that I was the first one to
Yeah.
say it absolutely, but the thing is, I was one of the people with the Green Ribbon who were promoting that as a potential future mechanism for getting people from East Cambridge over to Magazine Beach and the playing fields there. So it was a way of actually creating a connection for the sense of for the purpose of access to open space assets. That was a piece of that. There were also some other really kind of interesting creative ideas that have been floated about um, uh, pedestrian and bike ways adjacent to the rails, that go out toward Fresh Pond as well. So those are
Yeah.
not completely off the
But
table.
East Cambridge now has areas around North Point. It has
Yes,
the
but
skate park there.
yep,
It has the
yeah,
Charles River. I mean, people keep forgetting what a gift we have with having Charles River come the length of Cambridge, at least
Yeah.
where I live,
I mean,
You're kind
each,
of landlocked where you are, but
right. But the thing is that there was some open space that came around the time when the Foundry building was coming, and the Foundry building
yeah.
itself is sort of an asset for people of East Cambridge
Yeah,
as
but
well.
that's very
It's
dense
citywide,
over
but
there.
yeah, but the thing is there's another park that now,
Yeah.
is it Roger Street? I think it's
Yeah.
named
Yeah.
Timothy Toomey Park, right?
That's true. Yeah,
Right.
I walk around there a lot. I mean,
Yeah. So, I mean, it's better than it was 20 years
yeah,
ago, but
right.
there are still some underserved parts of the city,
Yeah.
including my own neighborhood,
Yeah, I
right?
think the middle of Cambridge is probably, you have the
Exactly.
library park, but other than that,
Which is just a passive open
yeah,
space,
yeah.
so
So,
you
yeah.
can't go, hit a softball out or something
No, I
there.
agree. So yeah.
Yeah. So, so these are things that need to be addressed. So one of the things that happened at the December 21st City Council meeting was that there
Uh-huh.
was a friendly eminent domain taking
Oh, right.
negotiated with the people from, is that BBN?
BB&N, yeah, Buckingham Browns and Nickel.
Yeah,
Right.
so they were giving up a space which is currently basically a softball diamond field.
Hmm.
That's it's technically the address, they put it at Larch Road, but it's really along Fresh Pond Parkway.
I know, but you get there from Larch Road. It's very difficult to get there.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
it's right across from where the water treatment plant
Right.
is.
Right.
But it'd be a nice additional asset. And it was, for those of us who were part of,
The Green
the
Ribbon.
Green Ribbon Open Space Committee 20 some years ago, there was something a little bit disturbing that the moment that the city is acquiring for, and again, I can't justify the $18.5 million price tag, but the thing is as we're acquiring it, the current rhetoric, it was immediately saying, how fast can we start building on it?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, come
Wow.
on. I mean,
Well, first of all, they can't. For 3 years, it has to be maintained as a field for BB&N.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. But the thing is that there are places in Central Square that could use greater infill for housing, and other places as well. And I sort of wish, I kind of would hope that they would at least be looking toward other places for building on, rather than
Yeah.
immediately building on
Yeah,
freshly
I
acquired
personally
open
don't
space
think it's a
assets.
great location. I know that the argument is, well, they don't have enough of affordable housing, but they have the Finch just got built right around
Well, the thing
off
is
Concord.
the western parts of the city also include some of the northwestern parts of the city, which is Ridge
Right,
Towers. So the
right.
notion that somehow
Jackson Place, a lot of places.
all
Yeah,
the low
right.
income or subsidized housing is all concentrated in the eastern part of the city is
No,
fiction.
it just isn't in Brattle Square. That's what the problem is.
Right, right.
It's not right in
Yeah,
the Tory Road. That's what people want, and I just
yeah,
think that's unrealistic. Sorry.
yeah. But so anyway, so that was kind of a strange twist, and
Yeah,
for me at least, sort of concerning that somehow the priorities of
yeah.
not that long ago really are just
Well,
to be completely sacrificed, and
yeah.
because of whatever the current priorities happen to be. I think you have to think a little bit longer term here. Once you build on open space, it's gone. It ain't
Yeah.
coming back.
And that's not that close to public transportation either.
No, it's not.
And the
Definitely
parking
not.
would be, yeah.
Yeah. Now, another thing that actually happened at the December 21st City Council meeting, which may or may not be related to an eminent domain taking in the past,
Oh,
I
right.
don't know,
Yeah,
was it was left as a mystery.
yeah.
The
Executive
council went
session.
into
Yeah.
executive session, and then emerged from executive session. Nobody knows. I have no idea what the executive session was about.
And we will never find out.
Look, we shouldn't. No,
No,
nobody
it's true.
should. But
Right.
I listen, in the past, those who were
Leaks. There's
friendly
leaks.
with certain
Yes,
counselors would
I
always
guess
seem
so.
to find out, and then the
Yeah,
rumors would spread. So,
that's
but
not good.
for
Yeah.
me, I was only left to speculate. And to
Right.
me, I do know that one of the largest outstanding kind of potential legal settlements that had not yet been made, and maybe has not yet been made, had to do with the eminent domain
Right.
taking a Vail Court property at the intersection of Temple and Bishop
Yep.
Allen.
What a
Yeah.
shame. How long has it been now? Crazy.
Well, that property has been decades vacant,
That's
and
true.
and
Right.
then for the last several
Right.
years, the land
Yeah.
was cleared of the decrepit buildings that were on
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
And again, I don't want to be too harsh about this, but the truth of the matter is that when you've got whatever number of units of housing was located there, and there were from the family that owned those properties previously, the rather dysfunctional family, let's face it, very dysfunctional family, where they couldn't work it out amongst different factions of their family about what they wanted to do. But they actually went before historical commission elsewhere and actually had plans that were given
Really?
kind of thumbs up about
Oh,
doing a kind of a mixed
what happened?
income development in there. The family just never could settle on it, and it just
That's a shame.
sat there, and the property just
Yeah.
fell further into disrepair.
Yeah.
And then eventually, in a somewhat politicized atmosphere, the city
Yeah.
took the property.
Yeah.
You know, but I remember speaking with people, high up in the city, that there's been such an opportunity. Maybe there's still a possibility here, but if you look at it, Central Square, we're all trying to this to be a really vital place. And there are a couple places that are just terrible. One is Vail Court. It's just an empty lot now. But right next door to Vail Court is the single most underutilized surface parking lot in the city. It's associated with the tall buildings.
It's not right next to it. Aren't there apartments in between?
No, they are
Really?
absolutely adjacent.
Okay.
They're absolutely adjacent. The only thing separating them are some ailanthus trees that have weed.
All right, I have
trees
to
that
look
grew
back
up.
in there. I didn't think it was that whole corner.
They're right next to each other.
All right.
And if we really, really had the wherewithal,
Yeah, take that all.
we should have been able to negotiate kind of something with the property owners for the large buildings that are facing over onto Prospect Street, because that parking is required under zoning to be sort of auxiliary parking for
Well, what about the one across the street from it? That's also
same
a parking lot.
ownership, but same ownership. So
It's
the thing
never
is,
that filled. It's never that
so
filled.
if you could
Crazy.
maybe double stack parking in one of those things there, release some of the other ones here, do some sort of mix of housing, commercial, and other
Don't you
development.
think that there must be some problem then with the ownership there not wanting to do that with the city? Because it seems to me they would have looked into that.
They actually had a proposal for that large Prospect Street lot. Anthony Gallucci was one who was sort of the lead lawyer for it for a while. And then I think they met just a little bit of either opposition or controversy, so they just backed off.
It's too
So
bad.
in other words, if there was a willingness to do something there.
Such a great space to do it on both. I mean,
and
all
if
of
you
it.
could think about it, if you can actually make a connection there, so it was passed through, you could, could actually have activity where there was a mix of housing and things, using the whole space in there, connecting over to Temple Street. It would just, we could do such good things.
And I like the fact mixed income, not just 100% affordable,
well,
mixed income and no retail. We have enough retail spaces everywhere that are empty.
I think what would have been good is to have something along the Prospect Street frontage.
Yes.
And by the way, there used to be three right at the corner. It's long gone, right? But there used to be three. I think one maybe was a fish store or whatever. But there were three of them right there at the corner.
Which side? As you're going from
on the Whole Foods
Central?
side of Prospect
the Whole
Street,
Foods side. Okay.
right at the corner where the parking lot is.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, there is a history of there being some retail there, and
but I'm just saying, don't this model of retail on the bottom and housing. No, I'd like to see more mixed income.
It's not for everywhere,
we're not building mixed income as much anymore.
Right, but I think we could do something interesting there, you know. And I just we have like a poverty of ideas sometimes in this city about thinking creatively and making really interesting things happen there, or honestly, we could even make a recreational assets tied into that, and maybe that would be the site for my miniature golf course.
Well, it's got to be on the rooftop. A rooftop.
Well, we can do that too. Yeah, or like between the buildings,
No, it takes up too much space on the ground.
Right.
Sorry.
But by the way, so just to be clear, that the executive session the council went into, they emerged from executive session with a proposal, a late order for a $1.4 million appropriation for purposes unspecified.
Well, there's the word legal in there.
It was to the legal, to the law department, for whatever the appropriate budget was, probably for making a settlement. So again, I personally, I feel that the city's what they paid lowballed a little bit for what the property
Yeah,
was worth for Vail Court. So
right.
maybe this will settle the matter.
I
I
hope
don't know.
so.
I don't,
Gosh.
and then the only, if that is the case, I hope that the city can actually talk to the owners of the next door property and see if they can do kind of a grand bargain, something where they can
Mhm,
do something kind of in concert,
mm,
for the greater good of the greater Central Square area. I think that would just be a
yeah.
great
I mean,
thing
because
if
as
they could
much
do it.
as people don't want to say it, you will have to have some parking for a development like that.
I like to believe that, but there are still some people who want to
Um,
eternally wish away all
I know,
parking.
but you're talking about families. How many
I,
families are going to give? I mean, people have cars, they have cable television. I mean, let's get real here, people. They're not all living, to get those electric
you
cars.
know,
I mean, that would be great, but that's not
it
going to
would be
happen.
great, but the thing is that, in personally, my future vision is that, we put a lot of effort into things like bicycle
Yeah.
infrastructure and all that's well and good. But the truth is that if the day
You've got two
comes,
kids going to the daycare and everything, and you're rushing around. You're not getting on a bike with them. There's
well,
definitely Cambridge people that do that, but those aren't the people that we keep saying
right.
we need affordable
I mean,
housing
if the
for.
day
So,
comes, I know you'll cringe at the thought of
oh,
autonomous vehicles, and I'm not a
oh,
big fan
please,
either.
no,
I'm not a
no.
big fan, but if
Yeah,
you have either those, or
yeah,
if you just have greater
more
access to
electrical vehicles.
electric vehicles,
People are going to want them.
and if the prices are
Yeah,
reasonable, so that you can't make a case that these are not environmentally friendly
yeah.
choices, then the
You have to make a
bicycling
space for
population,
them. Yeah,
will be,
yeah,
people will feel, because it's good and healthy to bicycle. But as a practical matter, I think you will not see a forever increasing graph
yeah.
of cyclists. What you will see is a lot more practical decisions being made
Well,
from people for vehicles. Now
well, it
they may,
depends. It depends on how many families continue to live here. I
well,
mean,
listen,
yes, yeah,
if the world or the country or the city can perfect a good kind of car sharing model
yeah,
that really that a lot of people buy in to,
yeah.
including maybe me. I mean, right now I may be giving up my 40-year-old
I know.
Volkswagen bus soon. If somebody
Yeah,
wants it, give me a
yeah,
call. In which case maybe I'll be joining the ranks of the car sharing world. I don't know yet,
yeah, yeah,
but the thing is that when that world comes,
yeah.
motor vehicles, even if they're electric motor vehicles and even if they're shared, are going to have to be still part of that.
They have to be parked somewhere. Yeah,
Right. Unless we can simultaneously provide every possible retail and consumer needs for every neighborhood within their own neighborhood, so they don't actually have to go anywhere.
yeah.
Or if we miraculously provided, recreational facilities all right in their nearby neighborhood,
Well,
but
right,
physically that's not happening.
right. But again, younger people without kids, even just couples, they don't always have cars, or they get them when they need them. They do Lyft and Uber. I mean, it's a whole different generational thing.
Yeah,
And but families, once you have a family,
that's
it's
right.
just as convenient to have a vehicle.
That's
And
exactly
it'd be
right.
great if it could be electric. If they put more electrical I think people would do it more.
Yeah, yeah.
It's getting
So
more affordable, but it's still
yes.
out of reach for some
Yeah,
people.
but the
Yeah,
notion that somehow, having places for cars
yeah,
to be
yeah,
in the vicinity of new housing I mean, to some degree it's okay,
yeah,
sort of like if you have a
yeah,
already previously
yeah,
built up part of Central Square,
yeah.
and you want to do it because it's right there in the heart. Yes,
That's
okay,
different.
fine. You
Yeah, it's
wave it
different.
there. You wave it there. But
Right. But
further
not,
away, even a few
that's right.
blocks away, it starts to become
And
very
especially if
inconvenient.
there's some more space where you could actually do that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of space,
Yeah.
I'm not personally horrified by the outcome, but uh, at the December 21st City Council meeting, there was yet another call for keeping Riverbend Park
Oh, right. Yeah.
open, through,
Year round.
year round,
Yeah.
whatever. And the DCR came back, and as Louis DePasquale, our city manager, explained, we have a very good working relationship with DCR, but they said,
Mhm.
look, there's just no way we can do this right now.
Mhm.
So, which then of course led to city councilors,
Oh, yeah.
you
Why
know, it's
can't we be our own people do it? No, I don't think you can do that.
well,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny how,
Yeah.
in a number of ways, I'm always reminded of an old Saturday Night Live bit where General said, "I can't give you specific details about this Iraqi invasion
Yeah.
here," and then the reporters continued to ask for specific details on where all the troops were, no
Yeah.
matter what. They didn't hear a word. So the manager explains, "Look,
Yeah.
we have a very good working
Yeah.
relationship with
You want
DCR."
to keep
And
it
then
that way. Yeah.
several city councilors, it's almost like went right
I
through
know.
them.
I know. It's like, why can't they do that? And what, they're already out there. It only closing it and putting it up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's not true, because I saw them actually taking the cones away at 4 o'clock on one of the weekends, and it was like 5 people. There was a truck going slowly. It's maybe it's overtime on weekends.
well,
You
one
know,
thing,
I
one
don't know.
idea I've
Yeah.
certainly helped promote this idea is
Yeah.
that during the part of the year when Riverbend Park is open on for Sundays, yes, we could do it Saturdays and Sundays, but
Yeah.
rather than opening the road at the end of Saturday and then closing it again on Sunday morning,
Right.
they could just close it on Saturday morning and leave it closed straight
Okay.
through
So
Sunday night. So
speaking
that's
of which,
half the labor.
no, but were you aware that it was closed from Christmas
Y-
24th through the
Yes,
28th?
yes,
Without
yeah,
that was phenomenal. That was like, I think
yeah,
Thursday was a little early. The traffic was unbelievable because people didn't expect that.
yeah,
The holiday. So that I liked. However, they're doing all this work on the bridge, on the Western Avenue Bridge. The traffic going down Western Ave is horrendous at certain times because there's only a
yes.
single lane on the bridge. So and things are only going to get more with
Well,
all the plans. So
and it's not like the city is adding lanes to local roads to pick up
no,
the slack. If anything, we are
no,
restricting
right,
local roads in the name of
right,
traffic calming.
right.
So
So I think if we can get the Saturday and Sunday with that idea that you keep it closed, which
yeah,
is an inconvenience for a lot of
yeah,
people.
that's right. That's right.
But
So,
I like
but
that. Or even if they can't keep it closed, just to
right.
have both days.
I was a bit bewildered, and I believe you were too, by Councillor
Oh,
Nolan
oh, brought up
continuing to
again
go
about
on about closing the
all of
rest of
Memorial
Memorial
Drive.
Drive all along
No,
here,
no,
and I'm thinking,
no.
I think we do still need some roads to get access to the Massachusetts Turnpike,
And it's
and you cannot
crazy.
wish that away.
Plus,
Uh,
and I know a lot of East Cambridge people were complaining at one of the well, we can't get to it
where's
takes
our
so much to
share?
get to no, to get to the river. And I walk there all the time. Yeah, you have to cross maybe 2 lanes, but you have the river
Yeah.
down there. You have all along by the Science Museum. Come on,
Honestly, if I
Yeah,
was living in East Cambridge, I would be taking walks down by the Museum of Science,
yeah,
going through
yeah. The locks there. I just did
the
that.
new
You can go
park,
to Charlestown. You can walk to
taking
Charlestown. Yeah,
going over that, that really cool pedestrian bridge, walking all the
right.
way down to Spalding at
But
the
but
end of
but I do want to say
Charlestown.
something in defense of the people that want everything because I realized this a few weeks ago, that there is something nice about walking in a space where we don't hear cars.
I
So,
agree.
and even though
I
Memorial
agree.
Drive, and I feel like it's open, you can be on the banks, you can be on the wide sidewalks, especially in sometimes it's not that busy, but to not have cars, it's not that I need the space, but it's nice not to have the cars.
Right. So in other words, and
One
I really
space
think
issue for
I
me.
think
Yeah,
this needs to be emphasized because people
yeah.
were using COVID as sort of the justification
No,
for social
no.
distancing, and I thought
No, I'm
that's
sorry.
ridiculous.
You can walk by somebody
Yeah,
without getting
I
it,
think just make
Yeah,
the case that it would be a
yeah,
good thing to keep Riverbend Park open at other times. You don't have to
right,
justify it based on a public health need.
right. And also because it has to be closed, period. This shared streets idea where you're dodging bicyclists and cars, I'm not walking in one of those streets. I'm sorry. I,
I mean, I
I
think
don't
we've
know.
mentioned this before, but
You
I
live,
feel that,
how did you feel about Harvard? Because you're near there. That's your,
I think there were Harvard Street. I always felt it didn't have to be the
it wasn't that busy
barricades.
anyway.
The
Yeah,
barricades were ridiculous. I
yeah.
think there were ways in which you could have
Cluttered.
sent
Yeah,
a signal to go slower,
yeah,
and I've always felt that Harvard Street could be a very good bike thoroughfare, like
yeah.
like in other words, so to whatever degree we have buses and cars and things on Broadway, because I live on Broadway.
Right.
You know, we could popularize a parallel street as a pretty
That's
great.
probably in the works. I could see that happening.
I think that would be a kind of
Yeah.
a good alternative
Yeah.
as opposed to further,
Yeah.
you know, making Broadway. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I mean, when I would take the bus, they would, you know, people be parking and they do some loading down at the
Right.
brewery. There's a brewery
Right.
place along Broadway, Lamplighter.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And you know, if they start blocking off lanes and throwing in those posts and stuff on Broadway,
Yeah.
they're going to really just, you're going
It's
to
gonna
just shut
hamper
the city
business.
down, honestly.
I know.
But the thing is that you can actually accommodate bicycles very well for Harvard Street.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think that would just be a
Yeah.
good alternative. But you know, it's political.
Yep.
But speaking of politics, one kind of, I don't know if I'm going to call it comical. I think it was actually kind of sad in a way.
Yeah.
I think it was at the December 21st meeting. There was a proposal from Councilor Toomey as a congratulatory resolution to outgoing Speaker of the House, Rob DeLeo.
Oh, yeah, that caused a little bit of.
And then immediately it was sort of like, well, he didn't support Cambridge values. So it ended up with only 3 councilors saying congratulations.
Yeah.
3 going flat out, no, I'm opposed to congratulating this man. And 3 just, you know, just weaseling out and voting president.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that's a pretty sad thing to do. I mean, you can make your statement and say, well, we didn't agree with you. Good luck here. But
that's a good point.
Yeah.
It was a
you don't have to be bitter. You don't have to be silly like they were, you know, but you know, I don't know, they're very political.
So what do we want to do in our last minute?
Our last minute here. Well, first off, let's congratulate our incoming executive director of Cambridge Television, Jessica Spicer.
Yes.
Right. Who
Welcome,
I believe
Jessica.
started just this
week. We haven't met.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's also congratulate. But let's also congratulate outgoing executive director Susan Fleischman, who's been on the job a great long time.
Oh, God.
It was actually, I only found out through who her predecessor was. Erwin Hipsman.
Oh, I knew Erwin
back in 2003.
Well,
I knew the name, but I had forgotten it because
he had come from the Somerville place.
Yeah. And also our producer Seth Meyer, and congratulations on his new baby. And Sean FL, who is also leaving CCTV, who's just has left. Wonderful, great person, a real resource for CCTV. So anyway, on that note, I guess we're going to take our leave.
5 seconds. We'll just say goodbye. We'll see you.
See you soon again on Cambridge Inside Out.
Bye.